Okay, so I've been married for 5 years, and here's 5 pieces of advice that I wish I gave my younger self preparing to be married today.
Hey
Number
everyone,
one,
welcome back to the
keep
channel.
folks
If
out
you're
your
new,
business.
I'm so
Oh,
glad
this
you're
needs to be
here.
number one.
Don't
Y'all need
forget
to
to
get this to your
like,
head. Keep
subscribe,
people
and
out
turn on
y'all
your
business. I know in our
notifications
younger
so you
ages,
never
when we
miss
had
a
boyfriends
video.
and
We
girlfriends,
talk
we were just
about
like, oh my
real
God, I
life
need to call you, need to tell you about
relationships
what my man did or what
in
my girl
a
did.
real
The
honest way.
moment
So
you
if
tell
that's
them,
your vibe,
they
you're
no
in the
longer
right
will
place.
like that person. I
Today's
don't
topic
care
is all
if
about
they pretend
advice
to
for
like them secretly,
newlyweds. So
they
you've
don't
said I
like
do,
your
and now
partner
you're
anymore.
entering one
So
of
the
the most
moment you tell them
beautiful and
something
sometimes
negative,
challenging
it will
seasons
stick with
of your
them for the
life.
rest of their life.
So I've stitched
You'll be
together
over it. You're
videos.
on
We're
to the
going to watch
next.
them together,
You guys
and
are
I'll
back in La
join
La
you
Land
on
and
the other
happy later. Now
side
you
with my
got this
thoughts.
person that
Let's
also
dive in.
has this. Okay, so I've been married for 5 years, and here's 5 pieces of advice that I wish I gave my younger self preparing to be married today. Number one, keep folks out your business. Oh, this needs to be number one. Y'all need to get this to your head. Keep people out y'all business. I know in our younger ages, when we had boyfriends and girlfriends, we were just like, oh my God, I need to call you, I need to tell you about what my man did or what my girl did. The moment you tell them, they no longer will like that person. I don't care if they pretend to like them secretly, they don't like your partner anymore. So the moment you tell them something negative, it will stick with them for the rest of their life. You'll be over it. You're on to the next. You guys are back in La La Land and happy land, and now you got this person that also has this information that you wish you never shared in the first place. Keep your mouth shut. Focus on your marriage. Keep everything between you and your marriage. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a friend to share certain things with, but I would keep it very minimal. Number 2, stop trying to make the person you are with be like you. You guys are 2 separate people. You are not the same. You guys did not grow up the same. You guys probably had different morals, different parenting, different lifestyles. Stop trying to make the person that you met somebody else than who they were. There's nothing wrong with getting better and being the best version of yourself, but when it comes to changing a entire person's trait, unfortunately, that's who you married, that's who you got to stick with. Because the moment you try to change them, if your partner does change, they will end up resenting you for it, and that'll probably end to divorce. Number 3, no one is perfect. I have to be very careful what I say here because no one is perfect. If your partner and you truly love each other, you guys have great communication skills, you truly love each other to the core, and your partner makes a mistake and you know they are truly sorry for that mistake, it is okay to forgive. Let go. This is not when we were younger and we had boyfriend and girlfriends, and as soon as they fucked up one time, we were like, all right, we're done, out the door. When you are married, you have to work through the stuff that you don't like just as much as the stuff you do like. And I mean, it will humble you. It will humble you. There are things that you probably did not accept that now you kind of have to work around. And I'm not saying to continue to accept those. I'm telling you that no one is perfect, and it's okay for people to make mistakes as long as they are doing the work to better themselves. Okay, my next one is make sure you have a life outside of your partner. This is something I truly have to work on because I feel like once you are married and you start to live with them and you move away from your friends, you move away from your family, sometimes you look to your partner to be all of those things. Like my husband is just that person where everyone wants to be around him. He has the energy where as soon as he comes, the party starts. And like I told him one day, I was like, I'm sorry that you have to carry that weight of being that person for everyone. And it's hard. Like I'm the person where I used to be the fun one. I used to do those things. So now I put myself in a position where I'm like, all right, what did I learn then that I can do better now? And that is do things that I like to do outside of my partner. Things that are my hobbies, social media, art, vision, fashion, going out to eat, hanging out with girlfriends, going on a trip. Keep those things in alignment, because the moment you stop doing those things, you're just gonna feel like empty, and that's not what you want to do in a marriage. Okay, so my next one is basically not going to sleep angry, but I want to kind of add to that. So it's okay to go to bed and y'all upset with each other, whatever, like y'all get over it. The next day, end it. Y'all can still deal with it whenever you need to deal with it, but once you've dealt with that, don't bring it up anymore. Let it go. Like if you guys have a disagreement, fix a disagreement and move on. Or if someone says something that you don't like, make sure they apologize. One thing about me and my man, if we get upset with each other, we walk away from each other and I'll send a text. Because I'm not big on verbally communicating sometimes because my emotions get the best of me. Honey, I will go for the jugular every time. And so will he, so will he. He will let me know. So what we do is we like to take a break from each other, step away, go into another room, okay? And I will communicate how I feel in text, and he will have time to process it, understand it, and we move on. And we don't dwell on it the next day.
The one thing my mother taught me, when you have disagreements in your marriage, do not discuss it with your sisters or your best friends. Because what happens is when you make up, they're still out there looking at your spouse out of the side of their face or the side of their eyes. And you guys have made up and moved on. So that's why when you have problems, keep them in your house. Everybody doesn't need to know your business. Mm-hmm. Keep it in your house, because when you make up, and a lot of times you get advice from people who are divorced or single, and they say, girl, you don't have to stay with him. But if the relationship is a relationship that you want to keep and maintain, and there's not abuse in that relationship, you need to nurture that relationship and make it grow, because there's no perfect people. So you got two imperfect people coming together to make an empire. I talk about building your empire, and you build that empire one brick at a time by learning how to submit and learning how to consult each other, and don't make major expenditures without the consulting your spouse. So my husband and I made a vow that if it's over $100, we're not going to make it without talking to each other. Is this in our budget? So a lot of times women go out and buy designer bags and things like that, and then they go into debt with credit card debt, and their husband don't even know they had it because they didn't consult. So it doesn't mean that he has control over you. It means that you guys are making a partnership together.
When you talk to your husband about an issue that you have in your marriage, he doesn't understand that you want to solve the issue. All he hears is your feedback and opinions on things, but never understands that you're trying to solve anything. Let me explain. You see, as a relationship coach, I've watched many couples remain stuck in this cycle of arguing where you start bickering with your husband, and then that bickering turns into arguing, then that arguing turns into these huge blow-ups with your husband, and before you know it, you're throwing around the D word, not sure if you should remain in this marriage with your husband. And the reason why is because when you get ready to talk to your husband about an issue that you have in your marriage, you're frustrated, you're anxious, you're upset, right? You haven't taken the time to regulate yourself. And so what he hears is how mad at him you are. What he hears is all of your opinions and frustrations and feedback about this problem. But he doesn't hear that you still love him. He doesn't hear that you want to work it out. He doesn't hear that you want to resolve this issue. He doesn't hear any of that. So what happens is that your husband then becomes very defensive, and he starts to stick up for himself. And how he does that is he defends himself, he defends what he did. He then may bring something up about you in the past, and then you both start arguing about past arguments that you thought were resolved, and now this argument has turned into one of the biggest cluster fudges ever existed in your relationship, right? All because your husband doesn't understand that you want to resolve anything. All he hears is your opinions and feedbacks sandwiched in your frustration, anxieties, and resentment. And I want to work with you over the next 4 months to teach you how to talk to your husband about the issues that you have in your marriage, so that he understands that you actually want to fix it, that you actually want to resolve it, and that you're not just sitting here pointing the finger and blaming it all on him. I want to figure out the exact communication strategies it's going to take so that your husband understands that you still love him, so that your husband understands that you both are still a team, and that you are still there wanting to resolve this very issue that keeps coming up in your marriage. You understand? I want to help you get to a place where your comprehension with your husband is increased, so that his offense is decreased, so that you both can start working as a team together and get your intimacy back. You see, at the end of the day, he's your best friend. And I know how much you miss him, but he doesn't see that. And all he hears right now is your feedback and your opinions, and feels like he's the one to blame. He doesn't feel like you're working as a team. Let's work together so that you and your husband can become best friends and be on the same team all over again. Go to the link in my bio and book a sales call so we can talk about everything that's happened so far, what you've tried, and how I can help. I can't wait to meet you. I love you so much.
All right. So as I said earlier, You've just said I do, and now you're entering one of the most beautiful and sometimes challenging seasons of your life. And while love is the center of it all, marriage takes more than just romance. It takes communication, humility, teamwork, patience, and a willingness to grow together. So, whether you've been married for a week, a month, or even a year, this one's for you. Let's talk about what no one really tells you about marriage, but what you need to know to build something strong and lasting. So, for starters, one of the first things newlyweds need to understand is this: marriage is not about keeping score. It's not about who's doing more, who's right more often, or who's sacrificing more. It's a partnership and not a competition. If you come into your marriage with a me versus you mindset, you're already setting yourselves up for conflict. So, for example, let's say your spouse forgot to do the dishes again. Your instinct might be to get upset and keep track, like, this is the third time this week. But if you flip it and think, we're a team, how can I communicate this in a way that brings us closer and not apart? It changes the energy entirely. So the goal is not to win arguments, the goal is to solve problems together. Moving on, I know we hear this all the time, but communication really is the foundation of a healthy marriage. Not just talking, but listening, understanding, and also being honest even when it's uncomfortable. You have to learn each other's communication style. Some people need time to process before talking. Others need to hash things out right away. And that's okay. You just have to meet each other right in the middle. So if you if one of you grew up in a household where people yelled when they were upset, and the other grew up in a home where no one talked about feelings, those patterns are going to clash in some way. But instead of blaming each other, use those moments to learn. Say something like, help me understand how you're feeling. Or, I'm not trying to fight, I want us to be on the same page. So, healthy communication isn't natural, it's learned. And newlyweds, you're just beginning that lesson. Now, a lot of couples think that if they're arguing, then something's wrong. But conflict doesn't mean your marriage is broken. It just means you're two different people learning to live as one. What matters is how you fight. Are you fighting to hurt or fighting to heal? Are you attacking your spouse or addressing the real issue? So instead of saying, you never listen to me, try saying, I feel unheard when I'm talking and you're on the phone. You see the difference? One is a blame statement, while the other invites connection. Disagreements are going to happen. That's very inevitable. The key is learning to resolve conflict with respect and to repair quickly. So hold each other accountable, yes, but always come back to love. Now, one of the biggest mistakes newlyweds make is letting too many outside voices into their relationship. Family, friends, co workers, social media, all of it can start to cloud your judgment if you're not careful. Your marriage is between you and your spouse, not you, your spouse, and everyone else's opinions. Now, maybe your mom thinks your partner doesn't help enough around the house, or your best friend thinks you shouldn't have to compromise on certain things, right? While it's okay to have a support system, be careful who you allow to influence your marriage. Set boundaries early. You don't have to share every argument, every problem, or every detail of your relationship. Some things are sacred. So build a strong us before you start trying to please them. Now, let's talk about intimacy. And no, I'm not just talking about sex, though, yes, that's important too. Intimacy is about emotional closeness, vulnerability, and connection. Now, it's those deep conversations, the inside jokes, the way you comfort each other when the world feels heavy. As newlyweds, your emotional bond is still forming. Be intentional about creating that closeness. So, for example, maybe you set aside one night a week where you check in emotionally. No phones, no distractions, just the two of you. Asking each other things like, how's your heart this week? Or is there something we need to talk about? Physical connection is beautiful, but emotional intimacy, that's what will carry your marriage through the hard seasons. Now, marriage is going to change you, most definitely. And that's a good thing. You'll both evolve, especially in those first few years. The question is, will you grow together or grow apart? That takes intentionality. Support each other's dreams. Celebrate each other's wins. Don't just live side by side. Invest in the relationship every single day. Now, let's say your partner wants to go back to school or start a business. That might affect your routines, your finances, or your dynamic. Instead of resisting the change, ask how you can be part of that journey and vice versa. Let them into your world as well. So, marriage is not about staying the same, it's about becoming better together. So, all the newlyweds out there, here is the plain truth: marriage is work, it's growth, it's sacrifice, but it's also joy, it's also safety, it is also laughter, and most importantly, it's very deep, deep love. You're going to have moments where you don't feel in love, and that's okay. Love is a choice you make each and every single day. So please choose patience, choose humility, choose communication, choose each other again and again. If this is something, if this if your marriage is something that works for the two of you, well and good, and that's the most important thing. On that note, if this video helped you or gave you something to think about, please go ahead and hit that like button and leave a comment below. And please don't forget to subscribe. I would love to hear what you wish someone told you when you first got married. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and take care of each other, and most importantly, enjoy that marriage. Goodbye.